Joining us on the news at 1, let's take a look at your market news now. The rally across Asia that welcomed in 2018 looked to have run out of steam today, with most markets slipping into the red on profit taking, but Chinese stocks rose as energy shares climbed. Strong economic fundamentals and corporate earnings, as well as optimism about the impact of Donald Trump's massive US tax cuts, have helped fuel a global advance to record or multi-year highs. However, some analysts say the surge has also been propelled by a fear of missing out, and with the next round of company reports about to kick off, traders are taking a breather before making their next moves. Tokyo stocks closed lower as a stronger yen weighed on the market, with investors also taking profits after 3 days of rallies. The Nikkei lost 0.2%, but Hong Kong stocks rose for 12th day, and Shanghai also pressed on with an impressive rally. The Hang Seng Index gained 0.2%, and the Shanghai Composite Index also climbed by 0.2%. Wall Street's major indexes extended their New Year rally to close at record levels yesterday on investor optimism ahead of quarterly earnings reports and hopes for easing tensions with North Korea. Financial and healthcare stocks powered the rally. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose by 0.4%. The S&P 500 gained 0.1%, and the Nasdaq Composite Index added 0.09%. For more on the markets, we cross to Nompumelelo Siziba at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Good afternoon, Nompumelelo. What's happening with the Rand this afternoon?
Thanks very much, Nzinga. Well, the Rand was losing ground at the beginning of the session, just after 9 o'clock, but it's lost a lot more ground since maybe an hour ago. I'm not quite sure what the latest news has been to drive the Rand further down, but we do see that it's depreciated quite a bit. Against the UK pound, it's hovering around 16.97, or it was about 10 minutes ago, and against the US dollar it's over 12.50, and earlier it was hovering around 12.40. It closed yesterday at the New York close at 12.34, so some depreciation there. It might have something to do with the ANC statement that has just come out from the NEC. In terms of the equities market, the all-share index opened in negative territory, taking its cue from Asian markets, which were generally performing not so well. We see that people were booking profits there, although energy stocks were doing well on the back of a higher oil price. We're seeing Brent crude trading around $69 a barrel. Great for the producers, not so great for us consuming nations who may have to import more inflation because of those prices if sustained. And in stock news, we see that Aspen, the pharmaceutical firm, suffered a decline of 10% yesterday. I'm going to be asking my analyst what the fuss is all about. Let's take a look at the indicators. Well, I'm joined by Owen Nkomo. He's from Inkunzi Wealth. Thanks for joining us, sir, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Good stuff. What's happening with the local market? We see that it was it opened in negative territory. Asian markets also a little bit mixed, generally lower. What's changed? Because we know we've had a very good year, a good start to the year.
Look, I mean, it's a very much now move in our view. The market opened down 0.3%, and I think that with the currency being slightly weaker, probably we could start to see maybe a little bit of improvement on that number. The market could probably reduce some of those losses. And I think it's still early days. Not everyone is back playing the market. And unfortunately for us as South Africa, the challenge is that there's so many moving parts still. Early in this year, as we saw with the transition in the ANC's NEC last year, with Cyril Ramaphosa being appointed as the leader of the ANC, with a lot of decisions still pending in the ANC at the moment. We are hoping that we'll start to see a little bit more certainty, through the rest of January, with Cyril Ramaphosa making his views heard about how he plans to lead the ANC, waiting for the first statement of the ANC as well to kind of give us color. And more importantly, guys will be sitting back looking to see what the budget looks like in February. But I think that, most markets are generally taking a breather. And I'd just like to caution, people out there looking at the markets, 0.3% relative to 1%. It's a small move down, so it's not exactly a very big move. So we're not that worried at this moment. We'll start getting worried if we see the JSE move below 58,000 points. It was at 60,000 points yesterday, and it's just come back a little bit to below 60,000.
All right. And then, as I mentioned, energy shares have been winners today as a result of the oil price hovering around $70 a barrel. Great for producers, not great for consuming nations. If this is sustained, what are the implications for us in South Africa?
Yeah, it's a big concern. And, I've been watching the difference between the price of the rand when it strengthens or weakens and the price of the oil price. The currency is strong at the moment and the price of oil is going up. So we really are very lucky in that sense, Nombo. Can imagine what it would mean if the rand was sitting close to 14 and the price of oil is sitting at 69 bucks at the moment, close on 70. It would really pose a lot of problems, especially for the Reserve Bank, in terms of how they handle interest rates in an environment where there is no growth. GDP in the country still needs to be kicked up. And the only way to do that is to try and ease the monetary policy side of things by cutting interest rates. But we are lucky in the sense that the rand is firm. So even if we're buying oil at higher prices, we are doing so with the mitigation of a firmer currency.
Well, let me interject there. You did mention when we were off air that the market is pricing in an interest rate cut in South Africa. Explain.
Yes. Yeah, so look, if you look at the 10-year bond price, if you're talking about the R186, the 10-year bond, just before the ANC elective conference, that bond price was sitting at 935 to 940. It's now sitting at about 853, 855 odd. Maybe, take or give 3 or 4 basis points outside of that range.
When you talk about that, you're talking about the yield.
Yes, the yield, the yield has come down, implying that there's room for interest rates to come down. And if you're looking at pricing interest rates on short-term instruments as well, we're seeing a 40 basis points decline from where we were before the ANC elective conference. So in our view, the governor comfortably has room to cut 25 basis points on interest rates in the first 2 months of this year. And I do hope that, if things settle down policy-wise, if the leadership of the ANC decides where power resides, whether it's in the Tuli House or it's in Pretoria, then, I think we'll start to see a little bit more certainty around policy implementation and stuff like that. And hopefully maybe we could start to see a few more cabinet reshuffles with the right people being put into key positions. And hopefully we'll see an NEC that's united, that's not going to give us more questions around how the Cyril leadership of the ANC is going to pan out. So I do confidently think that this could be a year where we could even see up to a total of maybe 75 basis points cut in interest rates.
Let's wait and see. And then a quick look at Aspen, the pharmaceutical company. Their share declined by 10% yesterday.
Yeah,
Some people talking about it being the next Steinhoff. Is that too simplistic? What's the issue?
No, look, it's hard to tell. I was scouting the net yesterday for hints, and we heard from Viceroy specifically saying that they're looking at a few South African companies, a few European companies, and a few other global companies where there's been drama in the finances. So people are now going out there and speculating that potentially Aspen is maybe one of those companies that Viceroy may pronounce on, because there's been speculation around their finances. But I see Stephen Saad, their CEO, has come out and say that, Aspen's numbers are nothing like Steinhoff, because Steinhoff, no one knows yet what's going on in the Steinhoff numbers. But we do hope that, it's not going to be one of those Steinhoff cases, because Aspen is actually a very big company in the JSE with a market cap that's bigger than most of the stocks that are in South Africa. I think the market cap is probably 200 odd billion plus as well.
And Stephen Saad has got a lot of skin in the game in terms of his share ownership of the company.
Yeah, most definitely. Him and Judith Lamini are heavily invested in the company, and one hopes that there hasn't been any drama in the numbers. If there was a big suspicion that Aspen is the next name to be pointed out by Viceroy, I think that the company will still be falling more aggressively today. But let's wait and see on official declaration by the company through SENS announcement. But then again, remember that Shoprite's once reacted and said, you know what, all this stuff coming through from Germany is rubbish. But I guess we have to wait for the actual formal reports coming through from Viceroy.
One word answer: hold, buy, sell.
Aspen.
Yes. Give me the answer.
God. No.
All right, he's not going to give us an answer whether he would hold, buy or sell Aspen, but we just have to wait and see how that particular story unfolds after a quick break. And Nzinga has more business news for you.